line to this joke.
Oh, Doctor, I'm so nervous. This is my first operation.
Give up?
Hello, I'm Skip Young. For 10 years, I had the pleasure of playing the part of Wally Plumstead on the long-running TV series Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet. You remember, a fat friend of David and Ricky's who used to raid the refrigerator and laugh a lot. Like that. No doubt about it, that was one of the best series ever. There were a lot of good series back in the 50s and the 60s. There were also some that weren't too good. So tonight, we're going to be looking at TV turkeys, the world's worst television shows. Some of the most god-awful garbage that ever graced the idiot box. Yes, I'm talking industrial strength, utter trash. But boy, did we have some good times watching all that crap. And speaking of good times, let's have some fun right now. Roll credits. Much better. Now I'm in my old 50s wardrobe. Same mothballs, too. Well, let's have some fun. What goes into the making of a TV turkey? Beats the heck out of me. But if it's on this show, that ought to tell you something. Let's go back to the beginning. TV's golden age, where vaudeville and burlesque played an important role in the early days of television. I mean, who could forget Sid Caesar, Milton Berle, Abbott and Costello, and of course, the immortal Hank Mccune. Hank McCune.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, folks, those of you who follow the adventures of Hank Mccune from week to week you've learned to expect some pretty weird things from our boy with the king-sized ears. Now, frankly, I don't know how this is going to end, but this is how it got started.
Now listen, will you stop this stuff? Can't you see you're going to throw us all off our course? We'll be lost.
Oh, tut-tut, my boy, I know these waters like the palm of my hand.
Oh, yeah? Well, where are we then?
Right here. This ship's starting to rock and roll.
Yeah. I guess the storm was brewing outside. Look at the waves. They're rolling against the side of the ship.
You talk funny.
Well, we better get into bed before the storm gets too rough.
Okay. Hey, McCune, you asleep? McCune, you asleep? Hey, McCune!
Ah, shut up!
You really think the world is wound? Because if it ain't wound, we're in for an awful letdown. Well, I guess I'll have some food.
Don't worry, we're just warming up. You dig slapstick? Hey, we're all into slapstick, sight gags, blackouts, pie in the eye stuff. Let's pull out all the stops and get hip to the program. Hooray for Hollywood!
Tonight, while Lucy is on vacation, we present Hooray for Hollywood.
Yes, this was Hollywood during the era of the silent film. The Latin lover, the it girl, the wampus baby stars, the Keystone Cop, and the men behind the scenes, the star makers, the all-powerful heads of the studios. And the most powerful of them all was my boss, Jerome P. Bagley, absolute ruler and supreme potentate of his own kingdom. World Goliath Pictures.
Bagley's coming. Bagley's coming! Bagley's coming! Good morning, Mr. Bagley.
Yes, Jerome P. Bagley, my boss. Tempestuous, wildly creative, powerful, and yet with all of his influence and his absolute rule, he seemed to have maintained his basic set of values. He always was and always will be a tyrant.
Temperamental star again. Call the director, tell him I'm coming down to the set.
Yes, Mr. Bagley.
Oh, Miss Silky.
Yes, Mr. Bagley.
Get me a doctor. I think I just broke my face.
See a purple cow. You got to be in love to see a purple cow. But since the day you kissed me, baby, take a bow. 'Cause you've got me seeing one better than being one. You've got me seeing one now. A slightly spotted, polka-dotted purple cow.
You know, back in the 30s, the movies gave us the terror of Tiny Town. That was the first all-midget Western. But in the 1950s, television gave us the Buckskin Kid, the first, and fortunately the last, all-kiddie Western. Yahoo!
High in the North Country, gangs of cutthroat outlaws have been raiding and stealing gold from honest, hard-working prospectors. General I. Sickles of the North Alaskan Mounted Police has been trying to capture these gangs for several years. Finally, out of desperation, he has sent for help. He has sent for the Buckskin Kid, brave, daring, quiet-spoken man of action who fights for law and order. Buckskin has brought along his two faithful companions, Hap, who is quite popular with the gals, and also Whopper, who doesn't exactly lie, but he has been known to stretch the truth a little.
If we don't capture Dirty Dugan soon, it's going to be mighty bad for some of them prospectors up in Coyote Canyon.
Dirty Dugan must be a real bad hombre to be giving rifles to the Alaska Apaches.
Why, I get my hands on that Dirty Dugan, I'll cut his gizzard out.
Don't you worry, General. We'll get him for you.
There's just one more thing. Watch out for a big Alaska Apache giant. They call him Iron Ears. He carries a knife about this big.
In the meantime, Chief Avalanche, chief of all the Alaska Apache Indians, is meeting with Dirty Dugan at Dugan's secret hideout.
My braves wait in hills. We make war on white man.
Jumping Mexican beans, Alaska Apaches. Come on out, kids. Had a fine shooting, son. Much obliged. I'd like you to meet my family. This is my daughter, Cindy Lou.
Ooh-wee. I'm gonna like this North Country.
Iron Ears, I'll take care of him.
We should have stayed in Texas, Buck.
Speaking of kids, did you ever ask yourself, where will we find the child stars of tomorrow? Where are they? The Shirley Temples, the Brooke Shields, the Baby Janes of the future. Well, here's a show that attempted to answer that question.
Contest winner test. Tammy Merrihew. Scene X1. Take one.
Now, Merrihew, Tammy, turn right around like you did before. That's right. Smile. Now take a bow right to this camera. Take a bow. How do you bow? That's right. Bow again. Bow again. All right. Now move right and slowly. That's right. Move right and slowly. All right. Tammy, I hear you won 3 big contests. Is that right?
Yes.
What were they?
The Shirley Temple contest, the How Do You Smile contest, and another contest.
Uh-huh. How old are you, Tammy?
5.
And what cities did you visit on this contest?
Chicago, Illinois, Detroit, and Texas, and Washington, D.C., and there are a lot of other states.
Well, isn't that wonderful? Did you have a good time?
Yes.
And tell me about your pets. How many pets have you got?
I used to have 3, but now I have 2.
Well, do tell your daddy what happened to them on the other side of over there. What happened?
When Patty got run over because there were holes in the fence.
And who is Patty?
My dog, my grown-up dog, though.
Your grown-up dog?
Yeah, she's a collie.
Uh-huh. And you're gonna get another dog?
Uh-huh. I have a puppy, and my daddy promised me he'd get another dog.
Were you sad when the dog got run over?
Uh-huh.
And show me how sad you were.
I was so sad I was crying.
And show me how sad you were.
I cried for 2 days, but I can't show you.
Why not?
Because when I'm sad, I'm really sad.
Oh, when you're sad, you're really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Cute kid, but can she sing?
Oh, dear, what can the matter be? Oh, dear, what can the matter be? Oh, dear, what can the matter be? Johnny, so long at the fair. He promised to bring me a bunch of blue ribbons. He promised to bring me a bunch of blue ribbons. He promised to bring me a bunch of blue ribbons to tie up my bunny brown hair.
Everybody applaud and take a little bow. Take a bow. Take a bow. That's right. That's right.
Okay, so she can sing. But can she act?
Take one.
This is a scene from the Wild Seed, the Bad Seed. Now, okay.
Look at her, sitting in her little chair, doing her nails, looking so cute and innocent, looking like you wouldn't melt butter. She's so cool. I've been hearing things about you that ain't nice. I mean, you know how you beat up that poor little clod in the woods and run him off the wharf. He was so scared.
If you tell lies like that, you won't go to heaven when you die.
I hear plenty. I listen to people talk. That's why I know what people are saying, and you don't.
People tell lies all the time, but I think you tell them more than anybody else.
You better listen to me if you want to keep out of bad trouble. I know what you done with that boy when you got him on the wharf. You just better listen to me if you want to keep out of bad trouble.
What did I do if you know so much?
You picked up a stick and you hit him with it. You hit him because he wouldn't give you that medal like you told him to. I thought I'd seen some mean little girls in my time. But you're the meanest.
I know what you think. I know everything you think. Nobody believes what you say.
You ain't no dope, I must admit. That's why you didn't leave that stick where nobody could find it. Oh, no, you got better sense than that. You took that bloody stick and you washed it off good, and then you threw it in the woods where nobody could see it.
I think you're a very silly man.
You that was silly, because you thought you could wash off blood, and you can't.
Why can't you wash off blood?
Because you can't, and the police know it. You can wash and wash, but there's always some left. Everybody knows that. I'm going to call the police and tell them start looking for that stick in the woods.
You're scared about the police yourself. What you say about me, it's all about you.
You better listen to me. They'll put you in that electric chair. They got pink ones for little girls and blue ones for little boys.
Now look at me, honey. Look at me now. Very wonderful scene. You played it very well.
Thank you.
Now look right into the camera and say thank you to all these lovely people in the camera.
Thank you.
This next show might seem a little out of place in today's highly aroused atmosphere of social awareness, but who among us is there to sit in final judgment of that which we call the human dilemma? Here then is Suicide Theater, a program that managed to cut its own throat before ever getting on the air.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Riggs.
Is that all you got to say to me?
Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Riggs. I still can't pay the rent.
Well, then, Mr. Lindbeck, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to vacate the premises today. If you don't, I'll take you to court.
Well, I've been trying, Mrs. Riggs. You know that. It's just that things haven't been easy.
I can't run this building on hard luck promises, Mr. Lindbeck. Don't you have any friends or relatives you could borrow some money from?
Oh, yes, I've written my folks, but they haven't answered yet. Unless there's a letter for me today.
You know the mail don't get here for another half hour yet. Anyway, you really don't expect anything in the mail. You don't talk like you do.
My father doesn't have much. My mother's been sick. I really shouldn't ask him.
You won't get any letter. Now remember what I said. I expect you to vacate the premises today. Don't give me any more trouble than you've been giving me. Don't make me go to court on account of you.
I won't, Mrs. Riggs. I'll try not to cause you any more trouble. More suicides this year than last, says county coroner. Sleeping pills, gas, bullets are 3 most popular forms of self-destruction. Who's got a gun? Or even sleeping tablets? Maybe...
There's a phone call for you.
For me?
That's what I said.
Say, maybe it's about that job.
I sure hope so.
Hello? Yes, this is Peter Lindbeck speaking. Yes, Mr. Gross. Yes, I know you're with the employment agency. I've been waiting to hear from you. That's right, it was the Acme Metals Company. Yeah, I thought the personnel manager... Oh, that's what he said? I see, Mr. Gross. Well, thank you very much for calling me. Thank you. Goodbye.
Well?
No, I didn't get it. They took somebody else.
Then that settles it. You better go pack your things.
Yeah, that settles it. Keyhole, that ought to be sealed up, too. Who is it?
It's Mrs. Riggs.
What do you want?
The mail just come. I thought you might want it before you left.
Just shove it under the door, Mrs. Riggs. Thank you very much. advertisement. That's funny. Why should they be writing to me? Dear sir, this is to inform you that since your gas bill has been overdue for 2 months, your gas has been turned off and will not be turned on again until the bill is paid in full. Sincerely yours, J.C. Higgins Auditor Gas Company. What do you know? I can't even afford to die.
Banana. If you feel it, peel it.
Yes, commercials really have come of age over the years, haven't they? But let's go back now to the late 1930s for one of the first and worst commercials ever made.
Yes, sir, Miss Mamie. The first week after my honeymoon, life sure was grand. And it seems like Sam was the loveliest of all my 5 husbands. And then he started sleepwalking.
What did you do for him, Congenial? Did you consult a doctor right away?
A doctor? No, ma'am. I just said to myself, Congenial, if it's husband trouble, you've had it before, and there ain't nothing can be done about it. But if it's sleeping trouble, maybe a new mattress will fix it. So I bought a beauty rest.
But wasn't that a pretty big expense, Congenial, on your salary?
I bought it in easy payment, Miss Mamie. Most anybody can buy a beauty rest that way to sleep comfortable.
Easy payment, eh?
Yes, ma'am. That's right. But since we got our new beauty rest, my trouble done changed complexion. That new beauty rest is so soft and comfortable, it takes me twice as long to get Sam out of it in the morning.
Oh, around this part of the show, I like to catch a little cat nap. And nothing puts me to sleep faster than this next program. It's called Motorsports. Now, you let me know how it is. I've never been able to stay awake past the first minute or so.
Now, as we promised you earlier, we'd like to have you meet some of the people that participate in this exciting motorsport of amateur sports car road racing. And it's my pleasure to bring a husband-wife combination of Ina and Max Balchowski. And we'd like to see how 2 people like this in their domestic life get together and both become interested in the same exciting sport. How are you?
Fine.
Good to see both of you here.
Glad to be
Max and Ina. Of course, Max is a specialist here in the Hollywood area. He's known as one of the top men in engine swaps. How long have you been interested in that, Max?
About 5 years, approximately.
See, there's another opportunity where a man businesses cars and he can carry his love right into his work and into his daily bread. I know that you have not only many engine swaps and ideas for them, but the adapters for it, too. And I've watched both of you out there with with that special of yours and this Duretti, and that I've seen you and Ina. Ina, were you racing before you met Max over here?
No.
Well, what happened?
Well, he told me I was going to the market one day and I was going around the track.
Oh, he's the sly type, I see.
Right.
So you never did come back with the groceries, but
No.
with the trophy, because they both are loaded with them, because you're both very familiar figures at the road racing tracks that we have here in Southern California. Did you talk her into racing and working on cars?
Well, she couldn't drive when I first met her, so she started to drive and with me and testing different cars and different types of
activity in racing, why she became interested in it. So I finally talked her into trying it out once.
And now she's your biggest critic.
Right.
I could just see her now. Now, on that second turn, Max, I didn't like the way. Do you get any of that?
That's exactly it.
Well, what's your newest engine swap that you're going to do?
Well, I have a new Chevy Cameo pickup with a hydromatic in it that has a modified Buick engine in it with a hydromatic.
I'm telling you.
First one adapted this kind in the country, I believe.
Well, I know you've been famous for a lot of bursts in this particular of matching different engines with different types of cars.
Mm-hmm.
Do you actually help him in the work?
Oh, yeah.
He puts you to work, huh? Coveralls
He
and
welds
things.
and helps and fits. He knows the both sizes right off now.
I know, and we're both wonderful, and I know you both get a tremendous kick out of this sports car road racing, and both realize the fun in it and the safety features that you both observe.
That's true. Each one is a testing laboratory of itself.
That's true, and it's been a pleasure talking to both of you. It really has. We hope you've enjoyed meeting the Wachowskis, Ina, and Max, who are real sports car road racers.
Oh, say, remember the infamous quiz show scandals that shocked us all in the 50s? Well, our next piece may not be so infamous, but imagine, if you will, a quiz show where the sponsor gets to pick all the questions.
Penny to a million. Raleigh cigarettes, the pack with the coupon on the back. And hear this. If you had $1 million, $1 million, you couldn't buy a better cigarette than Raleigh. Raleigh and the W.A. Schaefer Pen Company present television's exciting new game, Penny to a Million.
And here we go. Let's get that penny doubling, shall we, kids? Johnny, you're going to be first. We start and we go clockwise. And here we go. Your first category is called Talking About Tobacco. So let us light up and smoke out some answers. John, according to history, the fellow who introduced tobacco to England is the face on the front of the pack with the coupon on the back. Who is he?
Sir Walter Raleigh.
Oh, if you'd have missed that, boy. Thank you, John. Phyllis, headquarters for the folks who make those wonderful Raleigh cigarettes is in the Kentucky city near where the Kentucky Derby is run. What city?
Louisville.
Louisville is right. Charlie Metzler, here we go. Another big tobacco town is the capital of Virginia. What is it?
Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, Mr. Metzler. Seal Bremer. Got a good panel over here tonight, that first one. Here we go. Seal, the state that leads the nation in tobacco production has a capital city named Raleigh. What's the state?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah, they knew it out in the audience too, didn't they? And here we go, back to Johnny Witherspoon. The most expensive tobacco in America, John, is grown in the shade, up in a New England state where Hartford is the capital. What's the state?
Connecticut.
Sure is. Okay. Phyllis Harris, down in South America, one of the big tobacco-growing countries is Juan Perón's nation. Name it.
Argentina.
Yes, ma'am. Charlie, cigarette was the name of a character once played in the movies by the lovely lady who won the Oscar for her work in It Happened One Night. What was her name?
That, Colbert?
Yes, it was. Claudette Colbert. Colbert, right. Okay, Seal Bremer. The great American humorist who said that the only times he didn't smoke was when he was sleeping or eating was the man who wrote Life on the Mississippi. What's his name?
Mark Twain.
Mark Twain or Samuel Clemens, right. And that penny's doubling up, and here we go, Johnny Witherspoon. Many years ago, John, tobacco was grown as a medical herb by the natives of the country where President Cortines succeeded President Aleman. Name me the country.
It's Mexico?
Mexico is right. Very good, panel. All right, red-headed Phyllis Harris, our little mermaid. Is your tail cool in that water? Here we go. The man credited with beginning the culture of tobacco at Jamestown back in 1612, began the tobacco culture, was John Rolfe. He married another famous character in American history. Who was she?
Pocahontas.
Pocahontas, honey, right. Charlie Metzler.
Mr. Metzler from Kansas City, listen to this tobacco quote, Charlie. A lone man's companion, a bachelor's friend, a hungry man's food, and a chilly man's fire. There's no herb like it under heaven. So wrote Charles Kingsley in a very famous book. Name the book, Charles. I'm sorry, Charlie, it was Westward Ho. But you get yourself a $25 bond from J. Stewart for Raleigh's, and of course a carton of king-size Raleigh cigarettes, the pack with the coupon on the back. Thank you, Charles Metzler.
Get a belly bongo, strap it on tight. Turn up the music. All right.
Now shake it, make it, do your thing like mad. Liven up the party.
Belly bongo's super bad.
There's never been anything like it. Belly Bongo, the fabulous fun-filled fad that's creating belly laughs all over America. What a way to get a party moving. All you need is a little music and Belly Bongo. You've heard about it, but you've got to try it to believe it.
Get a belly bongo, strap it on tight. Turn up the music. All right.
Now shake it, make it, do your thing like mad. Liven up the party.
Belly bongo's super bad.
Here's how to order your Belly Bongo.
Oh. Say, this next show might not seem so funny if they tried to do it today. It's about two zany stewardesses who always manage to scare the heck out of the passengers. You might recognize Sue Randall, who played Miss Landers on Leave It to Beaver. This is in this high-flying air scare comedy. Here's Up on Cloud 9. Another show that never quite managed to get off the ground.
Your product presents Up on Cloud 9, starring Sue Randall and Theodora Davitt.
Hi, I'm Joe Thomas.
And I'm Libby Marshall.
Glad to have you aboard. Your Captain George Ward joins me in wishing you a pleasant trip. Thank you.
Honestly, some people get me this, get me that, never please.
What do you need?
Coffee. Oh, that Mr. Sharp in D1. The one who looks like a bulldog. He acts like he's the only one on the plane.
Maybe he's the one. The checker.
No, he's too obvious. He looks like a Gestapo man. He picked someone you wouldn't suspect.
Like who?
Oh, that mousy little guy across the aisle, Dieterle. The one who combs his hair over his bald spot to hide it.
Well, he's smarmy enough to do that.
Could even be Benoff.
Oh, I think he's here in case of emergency. You know, they tie a rope to him and we go by blip.
You know, we're overlooking a possibility. It doesn't have to be a man.
You're so right. That blabbermouth, Mrs. Gorson, in H1 looks like she'd just love to spy on people.
Yeah, and what about the one next to her? She's a real sneak.
How do you know?
That book she's been reading. The title on the jacket is The Philosophy of Science.
So?
The book inside is Peyton Place. Anyhow, whoever it is, no reason to worry about the report.
Look.
I see, the cabin speaker's on.
The cabin speaker's on? They heard every word we said. What are we going to do?
I don't think they heard very much. We weren't that close to the microphone.
Close enough.
How about some food? Yeah.
Yes, sir?
Miss Thomas?
Yes, sir?
Belly time. On the double, Miss Thomas.
Yes, sir. Do you know what he said? He said belly time.
I don't remember learning that at school. What is it?
What could it be? Belly time? Belly landing? We're going to crash land, Libby. What do we do?
Well, keep calm. Where's the manual?
The manual's in here. He didn't sound excited. Maybe it's just an ordinary crash landing.
Emergency procedures. Emergency landing. Seatbelts must be fastened. All sharp objects out of pockets. Heads down on pillows in laps. Dentures must be removed.
Oh, please be calm, everybody. There's nothing to worry about. Captain Ward is an excellent pilot. Well, and this isn't his first emergency landing. Why, he's probably done this a dozen times. To him, this is just number 13. Just put this on your lap and put your head on it. Put this on your lap. Just put this on your... Just put this on your paint. I'll take that. Just place this on your lap. What do we do now? We better go report to Captain Ward. All the passengers are prepared, sir.
Prepared for what?
The emergency landing. How long have we got, sir?
Emergency landing? What are you two talking about?
Well, the belly landing. You said belly time. I heard you distinctly. Sir?
Of course I said belly time. You mean you thought... Oh, no, I don't believe it. Excuse me. You thought belly time was... belly time. Coffee, food.
You mean we're not... Glad you're not in trouble, sir.
I'm not, girls, but you are.
I prepared them, Libby. Now you unprepare them, and I'll fix breakfast.
How about those crazy short shorts? Another nearly forgotten television tradition. They didn't last long, just long enough to be lousy.
Ba-doobie-doo, doobie-doobie-doo, doop, doobie-doobie-doo, doobie-doobie-doo, doobie-doobie-doo. Oh, the Arnold Stang Show, yeah.
Oh, today I would like to talk about the principal cause of divorce, marriage. Now, I have here a letter from a certain Mrs. A.K. of Countdown, Georgia. And she writes, Dear Professor, my husband and I had a terrible fight at the dinner table. When he went out for a walk just to cool off, I put a lighted candle in the window and went to bed. That was 13 years ago, and he still isn't back. I'm beginning to worry. I'm running out of candles. Now, Mrs. K, if your husband has been walking for 13 years, he doesn't need a lighted candle. He needs a compass. Maybe your husband has become tired of your cooking. Or he may have even been a little piqued with you. Either way, it's not a serious problem, and I'm glad to see that you aren't discouraged. Remember, you have enjoyed the richest experience that marriage can bring a woman, having her husband leave her. Since you so obviously want your husband back, it is important for you to let him know you are willing to let bygones be bygones and start all over again. You know, you can't help admiring a man who was so consistent. No wonder you miss him so. Therefore, you must do everything in your power to get him back. Follow every lead that might give you some clue to his whereabouts. Leave no stone unturned. Eventually, your love will triumph, and you and your husband will be reunited. And when he returns, give him all the tenderness and affection of which I know you are capable. Make sure that he never leaves you again. Remember, it's the soft sell that's more effective in the long run. I do hope, madam, that this brief estrangement will point out to you an important truth, to wit, what the Lord hath joined together. Nothing can tear asunder as quick as a lousy cook. Good luck to you both.
Ba-doobie-doop, doobie-doobie-doop, doobie-doobie-doo, doobie-doobie-doo. This is the end.
What is that? An automatic baseball pitcher. Just try it. What to do? Friendly Fred has an errand. He will be back in 10 minutes.
Anything for a buck, right? Well, if you think today's TV evangelists lay it on thick, then you just don't remember the meanest man in the world.
Not this year.
Jim? Jim?
Oh, sorry I woke you up, honey. The meeting lasted late.
Have a tough day?
And how? And to top it all off, Art came in with our United Fund card.
Oh, is it time for that again?
Yeah. And I just don't see how we can give to the United Fund this year. I mean, all our bills. Vacation costs more than we expected. Kids need clothes. Christmas is coming up. No, I'll just have to put my foot down this time.
Sure, Jim. You don't want to be a Scrooge about it. You're as civic-minded as the next guy. But who's that walking toward the Children's Convalescent Hospital? Looks a little like you, Jim. Making a civic visit? Let's not lose any sleep over that, Jim. But what are you doing at the Salvation Army? You don't need its services. This is one of the United Fund agencies that help people less fortunate than you. Folks who wouldn't have proper food or proper clothing without United Fund dollars. What are you doing here? Here you are at the day nursery. Never been here before, have you? These boys and girls depend on this United Fund agency for their daytime care and their daytime food, too. They have parents, but the parents must work. And here's where they get protective and supervised care. You wouldn't take the food out of these youngsters' mouths like you took away that old man's coat at the Salvation Army, would you? Or would you? Still restless? Well, you know where some folks are sleeping soundly tonight, don't you? How about heading out there to see how they do it? What are you going to do here? You wouldn't take the security away from these youngsters, would you? They've already had the toughest blow of all. They've lost their parents. Oh, no. You wouldn't. But I guess you would. And after all, what's security and peace of mind? Why, it can be blown away with a puff of wind. You can see that here at this disaster. course, the Red Cross is here to help. You saw to that last year when you contributed to the United Fund. But that was last year, before 600 tornadoes blasted death and destruction through the country. How do you feel about it now? Decided to visit the doctor before you're through, huh? But maybe you won't have to create any misery here. Maybe you just have to wait, and it will create itself.
I'm sorry to say it's cancer.
It couldn't be. You must be able to do something. I've read about all the progress you doctors have been making.
Well, yes, we have. We're very hopeful. But research takes money. And a big part of the money is being withdrawn because of a lack of support of the United Fund. People just won't pledge enough. Now we're not quite sure whether we can...
See? Some misery happens without being planned. But aren't you interested in seeing who the patient is?
I wouldn't do things like that.
But wouldn't you? Really? Of course you wouldn't yank crutches away from little people, or take food out of others' mouths, or close the children's home, or heap more disaster on disaster in the way you dreamed. So although you were right that you did your part in recent years, answer this question. This year, will there be no more homeless children, or elderly needy folks, or disasters, or crippled children, or people with cancer and heart trouble?
Naturally not. And I think I see your point. It doesn't really make much difference whether I knock the glass of milk out of the little girl's hand or simply don't help to buy that milk in the first place. She's hungry either way.
That's right. Sure, it's tough to keep giving. But take a look at that card. That card gives you an opportunity to answer a big question. It's just as simple as this. Do you want to help people, or do you want to hurt them?
That's a foolish question. I don't want any more dreams like that on my conscience. If they're going to be hurt, it isn't going to be by us. How about you?
Restless? Not having a good night's sleep?
Oh dear, what can the matter be? Oh dear, what can the matter be?
Your product presents...
I guess that about does it for this time around. I hope you've enjoyed TV Turkeys. I know I've had a belly full. Until next time, then, this is Skip Young saying, the trash can is closed.
look right into the camera and say thank you to all these lovely people in the camera.
Thank you.